That's exactly right. Your birthday is your own personal new year, 100%. And the energy's there for you. That's the thing. When you start tuning into your birthday energy, it rises. The birthday spirit, it's a thing. You are so porous to your own spiritual self on that day and to the universal forces that are rooting for you in this life that you're living and the purpose that you're here for. Yeah, it is your own personal new year. And it is the most powerful day of the year for you to manifest what you desire for yourself.
Tamar, thank you so much for joining this show. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. And I really thank you for welcoming me. I'm excited to be here and share a conversation with you.
I am too. So your new book, How to Have a Happy Birthday, Create Meaning, Fulfillment, and Joy on Your Special Day. I got to read this book, and the word that kept coming up for me as I was reading it was empowerment, which I was not expecting. I went into this with a very open mind because I have my own history with birthdays. I kind of alluded to this to you offline. When I was younger, I had a lot of pain around birthdays because when I was a child, when I was in elementary school, I really wanted to have a birthday party. And my mom was just like, absolutely not. She was very resistant to it. And I think it was just because, you know, 3 kids, she's a stay-at-home mom. My dad travels a lot for work. It would have been so much work for her to put on a birthday party with all the kids in my class to come over. It probably would have been a nightmare. And instead of explaining that to me, she was just very dismissive. And I ended up having this really yucky energy around birthdays to the point, Tamar, a lot of people don't believe this. I actually ended up getting hypnosis for this years ago because I used to cry around my birthday every year. And the hypnosis helped me to actually finally let go of that and be able to see birthdays at just like a neutral point. And now I'm actually to the point where I buy myself a gift every year. I usually go out to dinner with each of my friends. My husband always says something fun for me. So I just wanted to open with that reading your book was empowering, but it actually also was kind of healing. And it made me realize a lot of people probably deal with the same thing.
Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing that story. I feel it. I can feel
Yeah.
the hurt and the disappointment and the heartbreak, really, of not
Yeah.
being special on your birthday, not having um, your mom and your friends there to really raise the energy and celebrate you. And yeah, it's a big deal. I believe that our birthday is the most powerful day of the year, and we know it. Spiritually speaking, we know it.
Mm-hmm.
No one has to tell us that. We know that our birthdays are important because it's the day we began our lives. And so I'm happy to hear that you took some steps to heal the wounded child that had a difficult experience, because a lot of the issues that we have around our birthdays, because a lot of people don't like celebrating their birthdays. And typically they can trace it back to some key moments, typically in childhood, where messages came, we're not special enough, we're not worth celebrating, we're not important on our birthdays, it's just another day. Whatever messages we got really dampened our spirit and our enthusiasm and our excitement about celebrating ourselves. Today's my day. Today's the day I showed up. Can't we have a party? Can't we celebrate?
Right.
It's my day. And so that's the essence that we get to tap into on our birthdays. When you
Yeah.
talk about empowerment, it's such a good word, because I do believe that it's up to us to create the birthdays that we want to have and not wait for others to do for us what we can really do for ourselves. And we can talk more about that. But this book is about empowerment and helping people realize that they can take charge of their birthday and really, really make it what they want and feel a
Yeah.
deep fulfillment.
I love that. I love that. And, it was in the introduction of the book very early on. You tell a story about your first birthday. And, we were talking about the beautiful artwork in the book that you created yourself of this beautiful Swiss roll that you had at the age of 3. And then you said, in the years that followed, I had a string of somewhat happy, sad, and terrible birthdays until I turned 20 and realized that if I wanted to have a satisfying birthday, I needed to take responsibility for creating my own magic. Was that where your interest in birthdays began?
Yes, it is. So my interest in birthdays really sparked from those 2 birthdays that were 2 years apart. The worst
Yeah.
birthday I had was when I turned 18. And
Yeah.
that was, it was my freshman year at college. I was away from home. I was the baby of the family, 4 kids. I was the baby.
Yeah.
And this was back in the day, in the early 80s. We didn't have cell phones. I didn't have an answering machine. But I woke up with a lot of excitement, waiting for the
Mhm.
phone to ring, my family to call me and wish me a happy birthday.
Yeah.
And I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
But the calls never came. And I
Mhm.
went through my day structuring it so that I could be back in my dorm room waiting for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
And by the time evening came, I just couldn't believe it. Like,
Mhm.
how could they forget me? I'm the baby. It's my birthday. I'm 18. But they
Right.
did.
Yeah.
And so by the time I went to bed late that night, I was weeping. I had to hide myself under my comforter. I was just sobbing.
Mhm.
And then at like 10 minutes to midnight, the
Yeah.
phone rang. And it was my best friend. She was living overseas. She didn't have any money, but she scraped up some coins and she called to wish me a happy birthday. And I was so touched that somebody
Yeah.
remembered my birthday and made effort to reach out to me and basically tell me they loved me, because that's what
Yeah.
it is when you reach out to people on their birthdays. So it was a really,
Mhm.
really hard birthday. Um, it just because what it did is it amplified and underscored some internal negative beliefs I had about myself. Because we get those beliefs about ourselves growing up, and
Mhm.
that day really just sort of crystallized, like, oh, I'm not lovable.
Mhm.
Well, 2 years later, I was living abroad myself. It was my junior year abroad. I was living in France, and I was turning 20, another milestone. And I
Yeah.
woke up and I wasn't surrounded by family. I was on my own. And I said, wow, today's my day. And I get it. I'm going to make it my day. I took the day off classes. I took a stroll through town. I bought myself a birthday gift for the first time in my life. I felt really joyful that I didn't have to depend on anybody to make me happy on my birthday. And I realized that by feeding myself the things that nourished me that day, I raised my energy. And in doing that, it made me even happier. And so, and that evening, I had some of my college friends that were there as well, just from the community to come over, and we had a little party. I had the best birthday of my life. And that was when I realized waiting for the phone to ring for people to show up for you, that's not the way to celebrate a birthday. The way to
Right.
celebrate a birthday is to take charge of your day and make it be what you want to be and welcome people into it. But
Yeah.
don't have your expectations set so that you'll be disappointed, because that's often
Mhm.
what we happen.
Yeah, it's funny. I read those two stories in the book, but then hearing you repeat them, something just clicked the way that you explained it. It's almost like the intention is a big part of how your birthday manifests, if you'll allow me to use that word. It's in one, you had a certain expectation, and then reality kind of mirrored this certain experience back, and then you're abroad, you have this different intention. Do you think that's a big part of it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Intention's a great word.
Yeah.
If you can choose, if a lot of people that don't like their birthdays need to make a decision that they're going to experiment and
Yeah.
create a different intention. My birthday's coming up. My intention is to enjoy it. My intention is
Yeah.
to put myself in the center. My intention is to make it my own personal major holiday and to prepare for it and to plan for it. And that
Mhm.
setting that intention, right, that I'm going to have a happy day and I'm going to make it my own. I'm going to
Mhm.
own it. Really is a tremendous shift in how you approach your birthday. Because often, when we're kids, we're passive, right?
Yeah.
We as a 3 and 4 and 5-year-old, we just show up and then stuff starts happening and we have cake and presents. We don't know what's going on, but we like it.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so as we get older though, our parents, our family, whoever stops doing that for us, and we're kind of on our own to create what we want
Mhm.
for the day. And a lot of us at that point just kind of feel like, well, there's nothing to do because no one's doing
Yeah.
it for me. So there comes a shift in our life when we need to take charge to create our day for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And it makes me think because I have a daughter who is about 19 months now. Her first birthday party. I'm sure you can already guess. I spent so much money. I made sure everybody was there. It was a whole charade. And I want to make sure that once she's old enough, she knows she can celebrate herself as well. But I will be celebrating her as much as I can for as long as I'm on this earth. So it's funny. We're talking about celebration. We're talking about intent, but there's still so many people who think that their birthday is just another day. It's not important. But what would you say to those people to kind of help them understand the importance of this day?
So, you know, spiritually speaking,
Yeah.
your birthday is the most spiritual day of your year, and it's the most spiritually powerful day of your year. Why? Because it's the day your life began. And there is nothing more powerful than that moment that your life began to begin this journey in this lifetime as you. And so, we celebrate all these other anniversaries. We celebrate the new year. We celebrate the birth of our nation. We celebrate Jesus every year at Christmas time, right?
Mhm.
So, birthdays are a thing that we celebrate because they're important, but that means they're also important for us, right?
Yeah.
It also, we deserve the same importance. We deserve the same power to recognize that our birthday matters and that it's really a spiritual day.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to talk about kind of how to honor that. And you have a really good chapter in the book on ritual. And I just have to say, before you even dive into it, I saw one of the suggestions being to make a birthday altar. How did you come up with that?
Yeah. So birthday altars. So the birthdays are powerful, magical days. I believe that they're the most spiritually porous day of our year. That there's a lot of magic
Yeah.
available to us on that day. That the universe really wants to give to us on that day. We
Yeah.
just have to open up. And so I started thinking about how do we make the day sacred? If it's a spiritually powerful day, then what are the rituals and what are the ways we can make it sacred? And so creating a birthday altar to
Hmm.
ourselves is a magical act that really turns the switch on to generate all this positive energy. I actually, a friend of mine from high school reached out to me recently. Her birthday was last month, and she read my book. She's had a hard time with birthdays pretty much her whole life, and she reached out. She goes, "Look, my birthday's coming up. Can I have a coaching session with you? Can I just, not as my friend, just as a birthday coach, which I hadn't even done before, but sure. I mean, I hadn't done in that context. I've coached
Yeah.
people, but not like, will you be my birthday coach?
Sure.
Um, and I'm like, sure, let's do it. Let's have a session to talk about your birthday and what's going on and how we can make it happy. I said, but before we have that session, I want you to do one thing. I want you to go to the store and buy a happy birthday banner like this. Whatever,
Beautiful.
whatever floats your boat, go buy a happy birthday banner and
Yeah.
then put it up and create a special area in your house where you put up pictures of yourself from childhood, things that are important to you, pictures of your children, whatever speaks to your own soul and your own heart. Create a birthday altar,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
So a day before we were supposed to get together, she texts me. She goes, "You know what? We don't need to do that anymore. We don't need to have the call." She
Uh-huh.
said, "I put up the birthday altar and it was like it changed everything. I feel totally supported. I feel totally uh, just having the words happy birthday, looking at them, having
Yeah.
having something say happy birthday to me changed everything for me." And
Yeah.
I laughed. I said, "Great. I'm so happy this worked. We're still going to have the call. We're still going to talk about it. I want to hear all about
Yeah.
it." It did. But it really underscored for me how powerful an act it is to treat ourselves as sacred
Yeah.
and to create a birthday altar for ourselves. Another friend of mine, her birthday was recently as well, and she when she created her birthday altar, she didn't want to put up pictures of the past of her. She felt that was too much looking in the rearview mirror. She wanted to put up pictures. She wanted to put things on her altar that represented what she wanted in her future. She saw her birthday as a personal new year, which it is.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
she wanted to treat it as like, what's ahead? What do I want to manifest for the coming year? And so that's what she put on her birthday altar. And you could put on your flowers, crystals, rocks, whatever you want to decorate it, but also the things that are important to you that speak to your soul and that help celebrate you and make you feel that you are special and you are sacred because you are.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really making my wheels turn around. Why are we so resistant to honoring self? We're so able to honor others. I think most of us are able to honor others on their special days or whenever, or honor deity, honor ancestors. But we struggle when it comes to honoring ourselves. It seems like you see that when you talk to your friends and others about their birthdays.
I do. It's really a vulnerable moment
Yeah.
to celebrate yourself and open up to the love that's coming to you.
Yeah.
We're all happy for everybody else on their birthday. We're beaming them love.
Sure.
But when people are beaming us love,
Yeah.
it's a lot to drop the defenses and to open up and receive that energy. And a lot of us,
Yeah.
we've all had stuff happen to us in childhood. We've all had messages come to us from society that especially for sensitive souls, that shut us down and make us feel like low self-esteem, we're not worthy,
Mhm.
who cares about, all these messages come in, especially from a young age. That's when a lot of this stuff gets formed. And also
Yeah.
messages, don't be selfish, don't be so full of yourself. I mean, whatever the
Right.
societal messages are, I'm not interested in those.
Right.
When the birthday, the rest of the year, have what you will with it. But on your birthday, you get to be the center of attention. And you know what I love about birthdays?
Yeah.
Is that they're an equal opportunity provider. I don't get to
Yeah.
have 25 and my sister gets to have 22 hours in a day. We all
Right.
get 24 hours a day. No matter who we are, no matter where we live, we get one 24-hour period that's ours. And so and I love knowing that. And because and so there's no jealousy, there's no envy because we all have it. It's just
Yeah.
how do embody our birthdays and invoke the spirit so that we can feel uplifted and fulfilled and nourished. It's a powerful day that can set us on the proper trajectory for the coming year.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this, and I want to make sure we dig into the idea of self-sabotage a little bit. That keeps coming up, and it was something that we talked about a little bit offline. We see that there's this resistance to honoring self, but then the sabotage comes in sometimes. Can you talk a little bit about why we sabotage, how we sabotage on our birthdays?
Yeah, so we all know people or have experienced it ourselves where our birthday's coming, and for whatever reasons, for a lot of people sabotage their birthday joy because they're just uncomfortable
Yeah.
surrendering to the fact that they have a lot of need around
Yeah.
them. Actually,
Yeah.
I believe we
Yeah.
have a lot of need around our birthdays. It's deep. We
Yeah.
just don't want to admit it. And
Yeah.
so rather than admit, oh my God, I just want to feel special on my birthday. I want to feel loved. I want to put myself in the center. I want to feel
Right.
happy and uplifted. I want to be the star of the show for one day a year. I want everybody to just drop everything and love me. And,
Sure.
like that desire that we have from a young age to be special and radiant and loved
Mhm.
on our day, if we don't get that, and if we get inputs that disappoint us, that hurt our feelings, that shut us down, we remember that so that the
Yeah.
next, if it happens more than once, year after year, we are like, oh, these birthdays are bad news.
Yeah.
I don't want to have any expectation around them. I don't want to have any hopes. I don't want to deal with the heartbreaking disappointment that's going to come
Right.
when no one remembers, they don't do anything for me, and I have a Charlie Brown birthday, right? So the
Yeah.
sabotage comes in when we're old enough to have our birthdays, but here it comes. And so, like, I'm going to ignore it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
tell people I'm having a birthday. I'm going to schedule a really busy work day and make it so I
Yeah.
can't even do anything anyway. Like, there are certain ways that we set it up so that we avoid feeling
Sure.
disappointed on our birthday. And
Right.
so sabotaging our birthdays and our birthday joy is a really effective strategy for
Mhm.
protecting our hearts from further disappointment.
Yeah.
And I just want to invite anybody who's listening or who reads my book to understand that um, there's nothing wrong with the fact that you've been sabotaging your birthday joy. It really came from a tender place that felt hurt. And so, but you're in charge now to change that narrative, to change that experience, and to actually create a day where you get to receive the tenderness and the love and the good energy that's there for you. Even if you
Yeah.
don't even have to tell anybody to begin with, you can still keep it a secret, but take the
Sure.
day off work. Go do your favorite thing. Buy yourself a gift. Like, start taking baby steps that you can, that doesn't involve the world around you because that might feel too intense. But what can you
Mhm.
do for yourself to honor yourself and give yourself
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I like the idea of baby steps, of just starting small before you end up, booking the hall down the street for, everybody in the neighborhood to come.
Right.
Are there any other activities, any other rituals? We talked about the birthday altar, but are there any other activities, rituals, spiritual or secular or practical, that you suggest people try for their birthday?
Yeah. So again, I am going to say that, I'm going to hold this up again. This birthday banner,
Yeah.
I recommend everybody get themselves a birthday banner and put it up on their birthday eve. So birthday eve
Hmm.
is a powerful time. And I've been really paying attention to this in my own life the past few years when I was tuning into it. The birthday eve is when the birthday spirit descends, right? And again, that's when the energy starts to, my birthday's tomorrow, here comes the night, everything quiet. And
Yeah.
so it's like it's almost like, how you have Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, right? So it's like birthday Eve and then birthday day. So birthday Eve is a great time to hang up your banner, create your altar, and invite, and you'll feel the birthday spirit come in. It's there, it'll come in, and that will really elevate your energy beautifully. And then on your birthday morning, one of the things I do for myself and that I recommend also is to start your day with a spiritually grounded moment, whether that's meditation or that's writing in your journal, um, sitting before your birthday altar and really thinking about your life and your purpose for being here. But having spiritual moments at the very beginning of your day sets the tone because the day can disappear quickly. It's like the train leaves the station and it's off. You've got this, you've got that, and so starting the day with a spiritual moment sets the tone. One of the things I did this year for the first time that I really enjoyed is I followed an exercise that Elizabeth Gilbert does, and she even has a Substack on this, where you write a letter to yourself from love. And so you just simply say, "Dear love, what would you have me know today? What would you have me
Ooh,
know? Dear love, what do you want to say to me for my birthday?" It's
yes.
amazing what happens. It's just that
Yeah.
simple request. And you just start writing the most beautiful love letter to yourself from your higher self, right? From love. And I did that this year, and it was such a beautiful way to start my birthday. And you don't have to just save it for your birthday. You can do whenever you want. But that's a nice thing to do to start the day. The other thing I do to invoke magic on my birthday is I turn on the radio.
Mm.
And I've had some, God is the best DJ when it's your birthday. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
God knows your favorite tunes, and God knows how to speak to your heart in different eras of your life. And I'm not saying turn on your own playlist. I'm saying
Yeah.
literally turn on a radio, whether it's terrestrial or satellite or something
Yeah.
streaming that you don't have control of what song's coming on, and let yourself be delighted by how you get serenaded on your birthday. Music is emotionally stirring. So, you can certainly play your own music that lifts your spirit. Great. But give yourself an opportunity to open to the magic that's there for you on your day. And turning on the radio is a great way to do that. The other thing that I do, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I remember sitting in my car once, I had the radio on and a song came on that I hadn't heard in years. I
Yeah.
started weeping, I mean,
Yeah.
I knew it was for me. I knew it was
That's
just for me.
magical.
It was
Magical.
magical. And the
Yeah.
next year, I was in my car again, and the exact same song came on. And I hadn't heard it all year. No, really. It was like, I mean,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
magic
Okay.
happens.
The synchronicity. Okay. Yeah. Go on. So I know you said
Yes.
there's more to this. So
The
what's
other
the
thing
other
is,
item? Yeah.
well, the other thing is the thing we already know about is the birthday wish.
Yeah.
So the birthday wish is the universe's gift to us on our birthday. And I really I talk about this in my book about how to craft a birthday wish. And, it's really an opportunity to focus on what do you want to manifest for the coming year?
Yeah.
What do you want to manifest for the coming year and how you can help make that manifest? So for instance, if I'm looking, let's say I'm a happily married woman, but when I was single, sometimes I would wish for love to come into my life. And so instead of just saying, "Oh, I wish for the love of my life to show up," it's almost like I wish for a more abundant social life that will allow
Mm.
the come into my life, including the love of my life, right? So that it's an intention that you set that allows for success to come in. It's not just this one thing, right? It can be focused on this one thing, but it includes the thing that you can do to help make it happen too. You can create a more abundant social life. You can go out into the world and meet people on your own. You don't need someone to invite you into their world. There are plenty of worlds you can step into. And so I really in the back of my book, there's a workbook that really helps you drill down to what are some of the priorities and values in your life that you want to manifest. And so the birthday wish is a powerful act of setting your intentions and your hopes for the coming year of what you want to manifest in co-creation with the universe. And keep it in the present tense. So um, let's say I have a birthday wish that I want. I'm an artist, and that creativity is important to me. And I don't always spend time being creative the way that I want to be. I'm creative in other ways, but not always the way that I want to be.
Yeah.
And so I've had birthday wishes that really want to emphasize my creativity. And so instead of saying I will be more creative, I'm ready to blow out my candles. I wish to be more creative this year.
Right.
I am creative this year. I welcome the
Yes.
creativity and the creative inspiration into my life to be as creative as I desire, right? You bring it into present tense. I am creative. I welcome creativity here and now. If we always,
Yeah.
when we're manifesting things, if we put it in the future tense, I will be
It'll
more,
always be in the
always
future.
right. Yeah. You got to
Yeah.
bring it in, even if it's not happening yet. I am
Yes.
creative, right? I am creating the way I want to create. I
Yeah.
am creating with joy and abandon and whatever those feelings are that I feel when I want to create. So keep it in the present tense, make your wish. Obviously, keep it secret,
Yes.
because there's power in keeping these things to yourself. And
Yeah.
also, we don't need to be performative with our birthday wishes, right?
Yeah.
We all want to wish for world peace. We all do wish for world peace. But
Right.
your birthday wish is really personal to you. It's not a time to be altruistic. It's really a
Yeah.
time to focus on what you want. And that's the power of the birthday. It's just one day a year where your
Yeah.
prayers and your wishes get to be focused on you.
Ooh. Wow, I felt that in my soul. I think this is so interesting thinking about your birthday as an optimal time to manifest. Now, for a lot of us in the spiritual communities, because there's so many of us, everybody this past January and December was big on vision boards before the new year. We were all working on manifesting before the new year. But now I'm really thinking about it, like that's not everybody's new year unless you were born on January 1st. Like my new year's not until May. Maybe that's the start of my year. That's when my energy really is flowing for the next 12 months. Like you've changed my perspective on this.
That's exactly right. Your birthday is your own personal new year,
Yeah.
100%. And the energy's there for you. That's the thing. When you start tuning into your birthday energy, it rises. The birthday spirit, it's a thing. You are so porous to your own spiritual self on that day and to the universal forces that are rooting for you in this life that you're living and the purpose that you're here for. Yeah, it is your own personal new year. And it is the most powerful day of the year for you to manifest what you desire for yourself.
Ooh, my birthday's coming up, and well, when this airs, it'll be a few weeks after it airs. So I am going to be definitely thinking about this. But now, so I want to talk about this birthday energy thing a little bit more because this was honestly a new concept to me when I was reading your book. The idea that I know all days have energies. We have astrological transits. I mean, we have these energies exist, but your birthday has a specific energy, a specific spiritual energy that you can use for manifestation, for joy. I really want to hear a little bit more of your perspective spiritually on how you kind of feel this energy and how else it can be used.
Well, it's interesting. I remember years ago, years and
Yeah.
years ago, feeling Christmas, the
Yeah.
Christmas spirit. I'm
Yes.
Jewish. I was raised Jewish. We didn't celebrate Christmas. I would go over to my best friend's house and celebrate Christmas over there. But I
Yeah.
remember feeling the Christmas spirit build.
Yeah.
And then you'd have Christmas Eve, and then you'd have Christmas Day, and it felt
Mhm.
great, right? It was a
Yes.
collective energy of good energy, right?
Yeah.
And then it left. But I remember thinking, well, why can't it be Christmas every day? Like, why
Right.
can't like this good energy? Why does it have to leave? And then I
Right.
realized because there's a spirit involved, right? There's an energy
Yeah.
to it that
Yes.
comes and that goes, right? Just like seasons.
Yes.
And so our birthday has the exact same mapping, spiritual mapping to it.
Yeah.
It builds as we feel our birthday come. We have our day, and then it fades out, just
Yeah.
and then it comes back. And so, if that's true, and when you start to tune into your birthday energy, and I bet, Camille, that this year you will start to
Yes.
feel that birthday spirit come and
Yes.
then build, and then it's your birthday, and then the day after your birthday is the day for integrating what happens, and the birthday
Yeah.
spirit bids farewell the evening of the next day.
Yeah.
Um, that so if that's true, if we can feel that magical spirit with us on our birthday, then we know that magic is available to us on other levels. And
Yeah.
so being really clean with our energy, we're very sensitive on our birthdays. When you start to tune into
Yes.
this, you realize how sensitive you are. No negative energy allowed. You feel it, like an
Right.
anemone,
Right.
you shrink. And you do, you do. One of the things I
Yeah.
talk about in my book is what not to do
Yeah.
on your birthday. And as your birthday's coming up, you're sensitive, you start to feel sensitive. Avoid difficult conversations. Don't, like
Right.
take a break. This is just a time for us to take a break on the hard parts of life. Let's focus on the positive parts, build that energy. And with that positive energy, with those positive vibrations that we're lifting with the help of the universe, because it's our birthday and they're there for us, those forces,
Yeah.
we can envision and create and be grateful for who we are in this life. That's the
Yeah.
other thing, right? If we're here in this life, it's because we're meant to be here.
Yeah.
We're meant to be here and we all have purpose. We all have
Mm.
work to do. And if we choose to, because choice is involved every step of the way, we can use our energy, we can use our purpose to help make the world a better place in whatever way we're
Oh,
called to. And if that's
wow.
true, and if we are activated that way, if we are light workers and healers, then our birthday is filled with abundance of that energy that we were
Yeah.
born to embody and put into the world. So we get to amplify that energy. We get to feel it even more and it infuses us, feeds us and reminds us.
Yeah.
And being grateful for who we are, like be like, oh, I'm so grateful I was born to be me, right? What an amazing thing to think. Well, your birthday actually allows you to have those kinds of thoughts so that
Yeah.
you can keep being you and hopefully the best version of yourself that you can manifest as the year unfolds.
Mm. Yeah. It's like honoring. The words that were popping in as you were saying that, I was like honoring your place in this world, honoring your purpose, honoring your mission, just honoring your uniqueness, honoring your story. It was like honor, honor, honor. That is so healing to hear. And it's, I mean, this is, it's funny. I mean, I read your book, and then as we're talking, it's like I'm getting this deeper layer of understanding that's coming through. Um, wow. I just want to honor this for a second, that like, just truth bomb after truth bomb. I want to take a moment to just also talk about buying yourself a birthday gift, because I know you talked about this in your book. It's something that I was already doing, and I have my eye on a nice Kate Spade bag. I'm thinking that that's what I'm going to buy myself this year. It's very, very cute. I want to hear from your perspective just the importance around that, because I find it fun, and a lot of people I've talked to find it very weird that I buy myself a gift.
Yeah, and it's the first time I bought myself a gift was when I turned 20 in France, and I bought myself a bottle of fancy French perfume I'd been coveting. It was so expensive, but I
Yeah.
did it, and I knew I was going to have to scrimp and save in the weeks that followed, but it felt so good to buy myself something I really wanted
Yeah.
because nobody else was, right? There was no one
Yeah.
else to do that for me. And the thing I like
Mhm.
about buying yourself a birthday gift, and this is why I think it's a powerful act of magic, is that we go through life knowing that being in service to others, giving to others, it's good to be giving and
Yes.
give to others, right? We do that. What does it mean to give to ourselves? What does it mean to
Mm.
ask ourselves, what do I really want? And most of us don't even ask ourselves that question. We're
Yeah.
just, thinking about others so much. We don't think we're worth asking, what do I really want? And is it okay
Sure.
that I give it to myself? Is it okay that I am self-centered, self-ish in a good way? And on your
Mhm.
birthday, you get to be that. So it's a powerful act of giving something to yourself that only you can give to yourself in a positive manner. And again, it starts to create a positive experience in your psyche, like, oh, that felt really good to buy myself something I wanted and to give to myself. And how can I keep doing that as the year unfolds? And if I can't, I know I can do it again a year from now on my birthday. And it's like building a muscle of self-love and giving to ourselves and taking that moment to really ask ourselves, what is it we want? It's powerful.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to
Yeah.
buy birthday gifts.
I love it. It is my favorite thing. And to be fair, as I've gotten older, I usually buy myself more than one gift. Like, cause when I was younger and the funds were a little bit tighter, I'd be like, okay, I got to get myself something small. And now I try to make sure that like I get myself something nice, maybe two things if I can. Um, this is just so this whole concept is so mind blowing to me. And I want to circle back to something you said about the self love, because I think for a lot of us who maybe call ourselves empaths or highly sensitive, or one of those words, we tend to be afraid of being narcissistic, looking narcissistic, because we do live in a narcissistic culture where some people might treat it like it's their birthday every day, and to the detriment of others, right? So I think the reason why some of us struggle with the care, the self love, even on our birthdays, is that like, oh, I don't want to be a narcissist. I don't want to be self centered. But it's almost like you're trying to kind of change our perspective and say, no, it's actually good on your birthday to honor that, right?
That's right. The fact that you're
Yeah.
even checking yourself around narcissism means you don't
Yeah.
have to worry about it,
Yeah.
right? Narcissists don't check themselves on their narcissism. They don't even
Yeah.
know that they are.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're sensitive about that, don't worry about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
we all get one day a year, even the narcissists, to put themselves in the
Yes.
center of their day and to
Yes.
celebrate who they are. And we don't need to put demands on other people, by the way, to celebrate us. And this is important
Sure. Sure.
because narcissists might do that. Like, you all need to drop everything and you don't love me enough and you're not good people and you're not good friends if you don't do that. That's
Yeah.
putting trips on people. That's putting guilt on people. And that's not the true essence of the birthday magic I'm talking about. I'm talking about centering the power of your day within yourself, creating the day that you want, taking charge of your day, taking the day off work if you can,
Yeah.
planning what will bring you joy, inviting people to step into your space with you.
Yeah.
They don't have to say yes, and if they don't,
Right.
they're not bad people, right?
Yeah.
But putting yourself in the center to allow yourself to feel what it feels like to
Yes.
be centered around self, to receive the good energy that's there. And here's the thing, the good energy is there. One of the things that I started doing years ago that
Hmm.
I love doing is if I'm, meandering and maybe I'm going to a museum and I'm buying a ticket,
Yeah.
I'll tell the person behind the counter, today's my birthday. and
Yeah.
I'd say it with joy, and they just light up and they say happy
Yes.
birthday, and they give me all
Yeah.
this positive energy, and it radiates, and I feel even happier. And so
Yeah.
that's a very simple thing we can do in the world to strangers to help raise the
Yeah.
energy. It's a little vulnerable at first, like who am I to
Y
tell them it's my birthday? But
right.
everybody lights up.
People love it.
Everybody lights up because we all have a
Yeah.
birthday. We all know that, like, oh,
Exactly.
I know what it's like.
Yeah.
So I don't, you don't have to worry about being self-centered and a narcissist on your birthday. It's the one day a year you get to really step into it.
Yeah. That's so beautiful, and I think this might be a good time to kind of dig into the heavy issue of age, because I feel like when we're younger, and anytime when you're 7 and you're turning 8, or you're 8 and you're turning 9, you're 12 and you're turning 13, all of those are fine. It's no issue. You're another year older. And I think there's some point, different for everybody, probably different depending on your culture, different depending on your gender, when it's suddenly not so okay anymore, either internally or in the culture, in the community, to be proud about your age. I don't know where that cutoff is, but I know that a lot of us have that weight around aging and birthdays, and that's another thing hanging around us. I want to hear your
Yeah.
perspectives on age and birthdays.
Yeah, it's a big one. A lot of people, and you said it, gender culture, right?
Mhm.
We know
Yeah.
that there are really strong messages we get from a very young age
Yes.
around
Yes.
aging. And we unwittingly um, replicate those messages to our young so that they
Yes.
are raised to understand that getting older is bad, right? Aging
Right.
is a failure. Um, do I have time to tell a story
You
about this?
absolutely. Yes, please.
So
Yeah.
I was an environmental educator for 25 years, and I would give assemblies. And one day I was at a school ready to give an assembly, and the symphony was there before me,
Yeah.
and doing a little show and tell. And there was question and answer time, and there was a room full of third, fourth, and fifth graders. And one kid said, "How long have you been playing your instrument?" And it was a man and three women. And the man said, "Well, I've been playing the violin since I was 10, and I'm 42, so I've been playing for 32 years." And then the other woman said, "Well, I've been playing the oboe since I was 14, and I'm 29." Now, this was a woman who was
Mm.
older, like in her 60s.
Sure.
And then another woman said, "And I've been playing the flute since I was 10, and I'm not telling you how old I am." She was also.
Mm.
And then the third woman said, "Well, I've been playing I don't know my instruments, the trumpet, I don't know,
Yeah.
since I
Sure.
was, 15, and I'm 34." And she swallowed
Mm.
her answer because she was young enough to not necessarily
Mm.
say I'm 29 or
Sure.
I'm not telling you, but she'd already understood she needed to be ashamed to admit her age.
Right.
And I saw that. I'm like, oh my gosh, what messages are we giving these kids? The man gets to
Yeah.
be 42, no problem, but everybody else,
Sure. Yeah.
it's like, I'm not telling you, and I'm going to lie about my age, or I'm going to swallow the words. So I got up next. I was on
Yeah.
next. And I was talking about, recycling and composting. And so I
Yeah.
found an opportunity, and I said, "Now, boys and girls, I'm 37 years old. And by the time you are my age, people will be composting all over the place." And from that point on, until I left that job when I was 51, I would
Yeah.
announce my age from stage as a way to just uninhibitably just share my age and role model that there is no shame to be older. On the contrary, it is a privilege to get older. We all know people that didn't get to be. I'm 58. I know people that didn't get to be my age that wish they could have lived to be my age.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking that we consider our age as something to be ashamed of and that it's a
Right.
negative. And we
Yeah.
are not doing any of us a favor, but because we're all, if we're lucky, going to get old. So to buy into this idea that getting old is bad, it's another
Right.
year. I'm not into that. That's not helpful.
Yeah.
That's not healing. That's not spiritual. Every age has its value. Every age has its challenge, right?
Right.
I don't want to be 5 again. I don't want to be 20 again. I don't want to be 30 again. I love being 58.
Yeah.
Yeah, the issues that come with aging have to do with the physical body. I'm
Yeah.
driving a 1966 model vehicle. Yeah, stuff starts to happen and break down. You got to work it, right? To keep
Yeah.
yourself comfortable for the rest of your life. But I just see age as a beautiful blossoming into more of myself, into my wisdom, and into my spiritual growth. I am a more evolved person now at 58 than I was at 28. So we gain things and we lose things as we age. That's just the way it is. And a spiritual book I read once suggested that we observe animals as they age. Anybody who has dogs knows this, or cats. Watch them age and notice that there is no judgment. in their experience of it. They are
Yeah.
just completely present and accepting of their age. And I certainly wish that for us. And I know we will be a happier and a healthier society when we understand that aging is a privilege, it's a benefit, and we get to be ourselves without apology at whatever age we are. And let's celebrate whatever age we are when our birthday comes.
Yes, yes. I just plus 1,000 to all of that. I really feel like Western culture, U.S. culture, you and I are both in the United States. You hit the nail on the head. We fear aging. We fear getting older, especially for women. It's like a taboo thing. And I think the more that we connect to these spiritual concepts and probably take some clues from some other cultures around the world, the way that they view aging, I think we can make this healthier and we can make this kind of a happier transition as we have the blessing or honor to grow older. So
That's right.
I,
And
yeah,
I love that you're reflecting that back in that way. And I encourage
yeah.
everybody that if you're not comfortable with your aging, make
Hmm.
one small step, stop denigrating your age.
Ooh,
Just stop saying, "Oh, I'm over the hill." Just stop self-deprecating and denigrating your age. Just go neutral. If you can't be positive, just go neutral. Stop being
yeah.
negative.
Yeah, I 100% agree. 100% agree. Um, yeah, I mean neutrality. At least if you can get to a place of neutrality, then you can try to transition into joy. As we're getting to the end here, at the end we'll make sure people know how they can find your work, how they can find your book, how they can work with you. But I want to ask, like, how are you going to spend your next birthday? What's the plan? And if it's a secret, that's fine too. I completely respect that. I know you don't tell your birthday wish, but do you have any fun plans for your next birthday?
Well, my birthday is January 9th, so we're
Oh,
just a few months away. And
yeah,
I don't know what I'm actually going to do, but I do know that I'm going to do there are several things that I recommend in my book to do for your birthday. And so I'm going to set up my birthday eve, my altar, get that going and raise the spirit on
yeah,
my birthday eve and really enjoy like the candles and enjoy the music and start to build that energy. And then on
yeah,
my birthday morning, I'm going to have a spiritual moment with myself. And then I'm going to make sure that I get out of the house and do something new and different. Go see a new
yeah,
exhibit at the museum, go visit a new place, go out on a hike in nature, whatever is new and different, so that there's
yeah,
um, that sparks excitement on a day. And I'm definitely going to have social time. I like to have social time at night, but I'm
hmm,
also want to have some creative time. That's another thing that I think is important for me to do on my birthday. And usually it's to make a birthday collage, kind of like a vision board, but
yeah,
but more fluid and just creating what I want and or what some years I just write. I feel like writing something and being creative that way or painting, whatever it
yeah,
is that I choose to do creatively. That's an important thing for me to do on my birthday. And then I socialize in the evening, whether it's a small group or a larger group. I decide how I want to do that. But I always end my birthday evening with birthday cake. That's so important.
yes.
That ritual, the candles, the wish. It's just, and that's, people sing to you. You really feel
Mhm.
loved and celebrated. And I love that part of my birthday.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah, that's given me some little ideas for my birthday that's coming up because I still have a few weeks to plan and
Yeah.
I haven't decided quite yet what I want to do. But that all sounds lovely. So thank you for all of that. Tamar, I absolutely loved this conversation. As we close out, I want you to tell folks how they can work with you, where they can find the book, and if you have any other last just parting advice for folks who are thinking about their birthday this year.
I thank you for welcoming me to this
Yeah.
show, Camille. I really appreciate the opportunity to step into conversation with you. I was really looking forward to it because you have such a bright, beautiful
Oh,
spirit. I knew
thank
that
you.
we were going to click and generate some good energy together.
Thank
Um,
you.
I just really invite people to consider the possibility that their birthdays can be happier than they ever thought they could be, and that in allowing for that possibility, that they have the power to take the steps to make their birthday be what they want it to be. And my book
Yeah.
explains that. And you can go to my website, howtohaveahappybirthday.com, and that will show you where you can get the book. There's also an audiobook, an ebook, hardback, paperback. And you can learn more about me. You can contact me. You can sign up for my monthly uh, emails that I send out with tips for your birthday, fresh content that I send out if you sign up for my on my list. And you can also find me on Instagram at author.tamar, and same thing with Facebook, author.tamar. Tamar Hurwitz-Fleming is my name.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tamar. This was absolutely wonderful. I am going to start brainstorming my birthday wish right now. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Camille, and happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Highly Spiritual Person podcast. I really hope you found this conversation inspiring and uplifting. If you did, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more updates. And remember, sharing is caring, so if you think others would benefit from this content, don't hesitate to share it with your friends and family. We'll be back with more exciting content, so stay tuned and stay curious.